Look, folks, we all know Donald Trump thrives on any kind of spotlight, no matter how it shines on him. But deep down, I suspect that what unfolded at the Grammys tonight is going to sting in a way he won't easily shake off. Right from the start, the event kicked off with a sharp jab aimed at his latest high-profile supporter, Nicki Minaj. They pointed out her absence, joking that she wasn't around because she was tied up at the White House, hashing out critical matters with the president himself. Then came this impersonation, someone mimicking Trump boasting about having the most impressive backside, insisting everyone agrees it's his, not hers, urging her to take a good look. Now, while it might have given Nikki a momentary thrill to have someone so self-absorbed shower her with praise just for offering the validation he constantly seeks, the truth hits hard. Linking up with a leader who's overseeing covert operations by federal agents sweeping through communities nationwide carries a heavy price, and that was evident in the atmosphere of the venue. Building on that, the entire vibe at the awards shifted firmly against immigration enforcement tactics, mirroring a growing sentiment that's spreading across the nation. Take Bad Bunny's moment on stage, for instance. He stood there and declared that authorities should back off, emphasizing that people aren't barbaric, not beasts, not outsiders from another world. He stressed that everyone shares the same humanity and belongs as part of this society. He went on to share how challenging it is these days to avoid resentment, pondering how negativity can spread like a toxin. Though he struggled a bit with the translation, his point was clear. Responding to hostility only amplifies it, but compassion has the real strength to overcome. He urged everyone to choose a different path, to stand up through kindness if conflict arises, to cherish their communities and loved ones. That's the approach, he said. Handle it all with genuine care. Don't lose sight of that, he pleaded, before expressing gratitude to a higher power. Then there was Billie Eilish, stepping up to the mic. She proclaimed that no person should be labeled unlawful on territory that was taken by force. She admitted how difficult it feels to find the right words or actions in times like these. Yet she expressed optimism about the energy in that space, believing that persistence in advocacy, raising awareness, and demonstrating publicly can make a difference. Our collective input counts, she insisted, and individuals deserve recognition. She wrapped up with an apology, perhaps for the raw emotion. Shabuzi followed, highlighting how newcomers to this land physically constructed its foundations. Actually, he corrected himself mid-thought, dedicating his words to them now, to every descendant of those who crossed borders. He extended it to anyone who arrived seeking improved prospects, drawn to a place that vows liberty for everyone and fair chances for those ready to contribute effort. He expressed appreciation for the diverse heritages, sounds, narratives, and customs they've introduced, noting how they infuse vibrancy into the fabric of the nation. His affection for them was palpable as he thanked them deeply. Olivia Dean, fresh off her win for emerging talent, took her turn. She positioned herself as the offspring of someone who migrated across generations, crediting that courage for her presence there. Without such boldness, her path wouldn't exist. She advocated for honoring those journeys, underscoring that unity defines our strength. Her love and thanks poured out before she signed off. Kaani added her voice, stressing the influence held by everyone present and beyond. United, our collective force multiplies when confronting global wrongs. Rather than scattering efforts among isolated voices, she hoped the gathering would motivate a unified front among creators to challenge ongoing issues. She concluded by directly calling out the enforcement agency, leaving that as her final note. Even the pre-show interviews on the arrival walkway featured nods to those resisting harsh policing methods. Consider Bon Iver's exchange. When questioned about a distinctive accessory, a whistle, he explained it symbolized solidarity with watch groups in a Midwestern city. These individuals sound alerts upon spotting approaching officials, safeguarding their neighborhoods amid freezing conditions for extended periods. He viewed pausing to appreciate artistry and acknowledge peers as worthwhile, but emphasized that true impact happens through grassroots actions in those urban areas. His appearance served to pay tribute to their dedication. Why should any of this register on your radar? Let's break it down. Government decisions often flow from societal trends, and those trends shape the overall sentiment of the populace. Heading into the last presidential race, a significant pushback emerged against forward-thinking ideals here in the States. You might debate its validity, but its occurrence is undeniable. That surge in popularity for certain online discussions among men stemmed from their vocal opposition to what they saw as overly progressive stances, rallying behind Trump and his party. But that's faded now. In fact, those very influencers are routinely criticizing the former leader. And instead of artists holding back on their views about him, they're now bold enough to denounce his actions publicly. Such shifts don't emerge out of nowhere. Millions tuned in, absorbing these statements not just as indicators of the current public pulse, but as encouragement to voice their own concerns. Am I suggesting a handful of famous faces will single-handedly sway elections? Absolutely not. Let's stay grounded. But neither can we ignore that this display at the Music Awards reflects broader undercurrents. Incidentally, I anticipate Trump and his supporters dismissing it all as a biased assembly riddled with irrational animosity toward him. Make no mistake, though, these are precisely the circles he yearns to impress. His entire existence revolves around craving entry into exclusive groups that continually reject him. He may feign disgust for urban elites, sports leagues, or upscale social scenes, but that resentment stems from envy, not true disregard. I delved into this during a conversation with a seasoned correspondent, Jim Acosta. He shed light on it like this. People frequently assume Trump prefers enclosing himself in echo chambers of conservative media. Yet, the facts reveal otherwise. We're aware he covets membership in prestigious establishments. Decades back, he aimed to acquire a professional football franchise, but the proprietors collectively barred him. He settled for a rival league team, ultimately driving not only his operation, but the whole enterprise into collapse. It mirrored patterns seen elsewhere, like at global summits. So, when considering how traditional broadcasters could withhold the exposure he seeks, are we implying that despite his constant attacks on established news sources, the major papers, cable networks, he secretly desires their approval? Even as he boosts alternative platforms, does that mainstream nod remain his ultimate prize? Without question, Acosta affirmed, some inner void propels him to pursue affirmation from conventional journalism. This represents a weak spot worth targeting, he suggested, and moreover, it aligns with ethical standards. Supporting colleagues in the field becomes essential now, transcending minor grudges or personal dislikes. Principles must prevail. Journalistic independence isn't up for debate or manipulation. Once we start compromising, justifying detentions over stylistic differences, we've crossed a line this society can't afford. Rest assured, Trump will likely unleash a frantic online rant, branding the event and its participants as unhinged opponents. But tonight's overarching message doesn't stand alone. It's a direct response to actions taken. He attempted to govern with unchecked authority, and now resistance mounts. Its straightforward linkage, provoke, and face repercussions. He assumed an easy route to absolute control, only to encounter firm reminders of how little support exists for transforming this democracy into authoritarian regimes like those in Eastern Europe or isolated Asian dictatorships. The grip that Trump and his allies once held over popular narratives has slipped away, placing them in a precarious spot, particularly with votes looming, as opposition parties well understand from past experiences. Despite his aversion to accountability, circumstances are forcing a harsh education on the concept anyway. Oh, and while we're on the topic, Donald, mind if I float an idea? Should conditions deteriorate further stateside, any chance I could relocate to your spot in Puerto Rico? Wait, hold on. I've got an update for you. That island falls under American jurisdiction. Shh, keep it quiet. I'm scouting backups. Before wrapping up, if this breakdown resonated and you're eager for similar insights while backing unaffiliated reporting, hit that subscription option visible on your display. Additionally, in today's climate, officials hold sway over digital channels, potentially silencing dissent they deem unfavorable. My continued presence relies on a handful of industry titans who've signaled willingness to accommodate such pressures. That's why enlisting for my direct updates ensures we stay connected if needed. The sign up is displayed here too. It's complimentary with a voluntary contribution tier to aid our work. Your support means everything. Appreciate you tuning in.